A long time ago, in the village of Ono, there lived a young woman named Adaora. She was the daughter of the village great blacksmith, a man renowned for crafting the finest tools and weapons. But Adaora was not known for her father's craft or her own gentle spirit. Instead, she was the subject of gossip because of her size. She was much larger than most women in the village, and her appearance attracted more criticisms than admiration. The young men of Ono often mocked her in whispers, their cruel words cutting deeper than they realized. The women, too, would shake their heads, speculating who would marry a woman like Adaora. She pretended not to care, pouring her heart into weaving mats. Her mats were unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Delicate, intricate, and breathtaking. People from neighboring villages came to buy them, but admiration for her craft never extended to offers of marriage. Her father, a man who loved her deeply, tried to find her a husband. Yet every suitor declined, citing reasons that often masked their pride and prejudice. This rejection weighed on Adaora, though she bore it silently, finding solace in the patterns she wove. One fateful day, during the harvest season, a stranger arrived in Ono. His name was Ekenna, a traveling storyteller with a flute in hand and tales in his heart, lean and swift, with a mysterious glint in his eyes. Ekenna noticed Adaora sitting by the marketplace weaving her mats. "Your hands create wonders," Ekenna remarked, his voice warm and genuine. Adaora looked up, startled by his words. "Thank you," she replied, unsure how to respond to such kindness. Ekenna began visiting her daily, playing his flute as she wove. He told her stories of distant lands and shared songs that lingered in her mind long after he left. For the first time, Adaora felt truly seen, not for her size, but for her soul. Their bond deepened, and one evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ekenna asked her to be his wife. "Why did you choose me?" Adaora asked, her voice trembling. "The villagers mock me, and many have said I am unworthy." Ekenna held her hands gently. "Because they do not see what I see. You are rare, Adaora, like the finest gold hidden in the earth. Your heart is pure and your strength inspires me." Adaora accepted his proposal, and they began planning their life together. But as joy filled their hearts, tragedy struck. A terrible sickness swept through the village, sparing few. Adaora fell gravely ill, her strength fading with each passing day. Ekenna refused to leave her side, caring for her with unwavering devotion. He sang to her when she was too weak to speak, and fed her soup when she could not lift her hand. After weeks of struggle, Adaora recovered, but she was forever changed. She had grown thinner, her once large frame now slim and delicate. The villagers who had scorned her now marveled at her transformation. Suddenly, the same young men who mocked her came forward with gifts and flattering words. Flattered by their attention, Adaora began to drift away from Ekenna. She attended festivals with her newfound admirers, leaving him alone. One evening, Ekenna asked, "Adaora, have you forgotten who stood by you when no one else would?" Adaora hesitated, pride clouding her judgment. "You are a good man, Ekenna," she said, "but I need someone who matches the new me." Ekenna's heart broke. Without another word, he left the village that night, taking only his flute. The next morning, Adaora realized he was gone, but her pride kept her from seeking him out. Months passed, and the suitors who once vied for her attention grew disinterested. They vanished one by one, leaving Adaora alone again. She began to understand her mistake, but it was too late. One day, while sitting by the river, she heard a familiar melody. Her heart leaped, thinking it was Ekenna, but it was another traveler who shared news of a storyteller who had become a great chief in a distant village. They say his name is Ekenna, the traveler said. He is loved by his people for his wisdom and kindness. Tears filled Adora's eyes. She returned to her father's house, where she lived the rest of her days weaving mats. Her heart was heavy with regrets. The years passed, and Adora's story became a cautionary tale among the villagers. Parents told it to their children to teach them about gratitude, humility, and the value of true love. Adaora herself grew older. Her once vibrant hands now withered from years of weaving. One quiet morning, as the sun rose over the village, a group of travelers arrived in Ono. Among them was a little girl with bright eyes, clutching a small, intricately woven mat. She approached Adora's home, asking for the woman who created the famous patterns. When Adaora opened the door, the girl introduced herself. "My name is Nneka. My father sent me to find you. He said you once made the most beautiful mats in the land, and that you could teach me." Adaora puzzled. "Who is your father?" she asked. The girl smiled and said, "Chief Ekenna." Adora's heart stopped. She stared at the girl, who looked so much like the man she had once loved. "Ekenna is your father?" she whispered. "Yes," Nneka replied. "He speaks of you often with great fondness. He says you were his dearest friend." Tears welled in Adora's eyes as she realized that Ekenna, despite all that happened, still had her memory in his heart. She invited Nneka inside and showed her how to weave the intricate patterns that had once brought her so much joy. For the first time in years, Adaora felt a spark of purpose. As Nneka walked beside her, she shared stories of her father. "He always plays his flute in the evenings," Nneka said. "He says music reminds him of simpler times." Adaora smiled faintly, her chest heavy with both sorrow and warmth. Though she had lost Ekenna, his kindness had left a mark on her life that even time could not erase. Months later, a messenger arrived from Ekenna's village with an invitation. It was a call to celebrate the annual festival of storytelling, where Ekenna would share tales of love, wisdom, and transformation. Adaora hesitated, unsure if she could face the man she had once hurt so deeply. But Nneka encouraged her. "Come with me," she said. "I know he will be happy to see you." Adaora decided to go, carrying one of her finest mats as a gift. When she arrived in Ekenna's village, she saw him standing at the center of a crowd, his flute in hand and his smile as warm as she remembered. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world seemed to stand still. Ekenna approached her, his expression kind but measured. "Adaora," he said softly. "It's been many years." Adaora bowed her head. "I came to thank you," she said, "for seeing me when no one else did, for loving me when I could not love myself." Ekenna nodded, his voice calm. "And I thank you for teaching me the power of forgiveness and moving forward." The two spoke long into the night, sharing memories and laughter. While their paths had diverged, they found solace in the fact that they had both grown from their experiences. Adaora returned to Ono with a lighter heart, knowing that while she could not undo the past, she had learned its lessons well. From that day on, Adora's weaving became not just a craft, but a symbol of resilience and redemption. The villagers came to her not just for mats, but for the wisdom she shared through her stories. And though she remained in Ono, she often thought of Ekenna, grateful that their story, though bittersweet, has shaped her into the person she was meant to be. The moral of the tale reminded all who heard it. True love and gratitude can transform even the heaviest burdens into beautiful threads that weave a life of meaning and purpose.